Could it be? Finally, it is compiling. In the last video, the project successfully compiled even though we were not using completely the import what you use model because of this line. By including a private PCH header file, we were basically telling the compiler that we will be using all the includes in your project name.h main header file. Include what you use model. You will have to basically delete this private PCH header file, and we'll have to include some new instructions on your build.cs file. These are the ones that were shown in the output list. This is in my case for the Unreal 4.24 version. As you can see, the bLegacyPublicIncludePaths must be set to false, and this omits the subfolders from public include paths to reduce the compiler command line length. Then we'll have to set the ShadowVariableWarningLevel to equals WarningLevel.Error. This will make the compiler show us an error and does not let us compile if this project is not completely up to speed with the headers. Then we'll set the PCHUsage equals PCHUsageMode.UseExplicitOrSharedPCHs to ensure that we would want to use the private PCH header file. However, we will not. We will let the Unreal compiler declare their explicit shared PCH file automatically. Then we must set the MinFilesUsingPrecompiledHeaderOverride to 1. Also, be faster without unity to true, and be enforce in IWYU equals true, and be enable exceptions equals to true. All of these will make the compiler force us to use the import what you use model. Now let's save and compile. As we are using this new model, we will have a ton of new errors. This will mean that the project needs to be specified each of the header files compatible for each of the classes that we have in our project. Right now we have an error because we have not included all the header files to all the classes that we need. Go to the error list and we have to open one by one each of the files to effectively check what's the issue. For example, here in the bt decorator underscore has los2.c++ file, the error list marks that we have not included the header file for this directory. If we right click and open document, we will see that the editor recognizes this, but the compiler don't. So part of the problems is that we have to select and place in the compile in the editor the complete path to the header. That's including the bots folder. Let's take a quick look to see if this removes this specific error. And this specific error is no longer found in the error list. We'll have to do pretty much the same for each and every one of these errors. Let's go to the next one. It says cannot open include file ShooterCharacter.h. It's not included in the shooter bot, so we have to include again the folder. It's the player folder, so we'll write player. Now that specific error is no longer shown, so let's take it as if it was corrected. You do not have to compile the project each time you correct one of the errors, but I suggest you to compile each time you correct all the errors in each of the specific files that are shown in the error list. As you can see on the File tab, you can watch all the errors that are present in each of the header files or each of the classes. Let's go to the ShooterPickup class and see what are the errors. Now, in the ShooterPickup.h class, we have the error that it doesn't recognize this useOnQ class. On the IncludeWhatUse model, we no longer have to include the headers on the header files. We must include them as classes, as forward declarations. To see how it's made of, you only have to forward declare useOnQ, and it will be selected as if. Next, once again it's useOnQ. It looks like in this specific ShooterPickup class, this was the only error. Let's take a look if it is. More errors, but in the error list there is no longer shown the ShooterPickup class. That means that for now this class is correct. Now let's move to the next error class. It says ShooterCharacter. This ShooterCharacter class might be the most complicated of all the classes that you will have to correct. Let's get started. First, it tells us that ShooterCharacter has not been defined. So the very first thing, I don't remember if the very first thing that we have to correct is to include the ShooterCharacter parent class. We will do it by include .game framework character.h. Now the parent class should be found by the compiler. The next error is once again the sound cue. The sound cue can be included as a forward declaration. The reason why we have to include the character as a complete include and not as a forward declaration is because the A character class is the parent character for the shooter character. Let's see what's the next error. Particle system. As far as I'm concerned, the particle system can be included as forward declaration as well. Let's take a look at the next error. Particle system, sound cue once again, sound cue again, As you can see, once we have declared the forward declarations for useSoundQ and the particle system, we will start to begin looking in the error list at functions not found. In the case of the override specifier functions, these were not found because the parent class A character was not declared in the header. Let's continue on the list, and it looks as for now all the errors were because of this specific problem. Let's have a look by compiling. Let's take a look to the error list, and as far as we are concerned, there are no more errors on the shooter character. I said shooter character was gonna be a complicated class to correct, because in the C++ constructor file we do have to include the paths to these to the classes that we have forward declared. Let's take a look at the variables. For example, dead sound parameter. If we search the dead sound parameter in the shooter class constructor and we try to pick a definition, the Visual Studio IntelliSense operation is going to take a while because it doesn't take us to the declaration of the useSoundQ. It will take us to the declaration of the shooter character. If we want to use the useSoundQ header, we will find it as well on the soundQ.h header file. This is the header file that we have that we must include on the constructor file. This error is not present in the moment at the error list, but as you can see, the SoundQ is not found on the list of includes. Let's get ahead of ourselves for a while. Now, right-click on this line and open document to find that it effectively goes to the required path. By including the header path of the SoundQ, we can effectively use the dead sound parameter. In essence, you have to do this procedure for every one of the classes that you have forward declared in your header file. The next one in the shooter character header is uParticle system. So let's find it again. We pick at the definition. If you feel like it takes a while, just press cancel and it will show you a list of all the headers that it has found. Go to the one that matches completely the one that you're looking for, in this case particle system.h, and it can be found in the particles folder particle system.h. That's the one that we have to include. Once again, include particles particle system .h. it should now be recognized. The reason why this project worked before without including a declaration in the header or the constructor is because this declaration, the declaration of the path to this class, was included on the ShooterGame main header class. In this case, the engine header. If you open the engine header and you look for the sound cue class, you will find its include line right here. That means that the ShooterGame main header file did include for all the project the sound cue and every one of these headers. The include what you use model make it so that each header file only includes what it has declared, without taking into account the header, the ShooterGame, which was the equivalent to the PrivatePCHHeaderFile. As your project becomes greater and greater, using this model will prevent the compiler to compile everything and will only compile the things that you have changed in each one of your classes that you are working on right now. In the long run, this will help you save a lot of time. Following this, we will have to continue to correct every one of the errors found in the error list. Could it be? Finally, it is compiling. Alright, at first glance it appears that it is working, but let's first test it on the new editor window to see if any unexpected crashes. Nothing. And now let's check the complete functionality with the standalone game. All's well. We can wait 15 more seconds, right? See, no crash. The widgets are working well. Travel to main menu is working. Hosting session. 8 players. So far, no problems. Ready? Go. Right, let's cut it. No message, no nothing. It appears it's finally working alright. And just for you to notice the change in times of compiling, let's do it again. That's better. Let's test one more time with multiplayer. Everything is working as usual. Right. Let's call it quits for today. Thanks for watching. If you want more content like this, please like, comment and subscribe. See you later. Peace.